am I doing with my life? What am I doing? What am I doing? Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. We're doing something a little bit different today, but normally we've got gaming content, Animal Crossing, Zelda, all that jazz. So if you like that stuff, I'll put in a little shout out now and say please subscribe. But yeah, we're doing something a little bit different today, as I'm sure you can tell from the thumbnail and from the title. I really just wanted to sit down and talk about being 22 because it's my birthday soon. I don't know when this is going up, maybe about a month before my birthday. And this year has been so weird. Like world events aside, this year has been a weird one for me, and I really wanted to sit down and just talk it out. Because I did a brain dump yesterday and just threw it all on a Word document, and I just thought this actually feels really good. I don't normally throw things on a Word document and get it all out of my head, but I felt very good after it. So if you need to do that, definitely recommend. But I thought I wanted to make a video out of it because I know I'm only 22, but I feel like I've already learned so much in my 20s, and I feel like the 20s, or when you're in your 20s, everything's so weird and there's so much going on, and you know, you might be here and your friends might be all the way over here, or your other friends might be here or all the way over here. Like, everyone is in such a different place, in a different frame of mind, and that can either make you feel really good because you might be feeling really accomplished or doing something that you never thought you'd do. But then there are people like me where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And there is so much happening in my life, but also good things too. And I just realized I don't have my lights on. But there you go, it makes absolutely no difference. But I got my cute lights on. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, the 20s are weird, and I really just want to sit down and talk about what my life has been like at 22, because I don't know what Taylor Swift was talking about, but it's been a rocky road. And I feel like there are going to be lots of people in my situation, whether they're 22 as well, or older or younger, and I just wanted to put some love into the world, I guess, and be like, everyone's okay, we're doing good. You might be feeling like this at the minute, but it's gonna be okay. So I have my tea ready, as always. It is my Mickey Mouse. It's not mine, it's my sister's, but my mug. God, that is hot. Why did I put that in my face? It's fine. But yeah, I guess I will start all the way back in August of 2021. That is when I turned 22. That's a good start, isn't it? Yeah, so take myself back to that frame of mind. So I just finished my degree. I studied away from home at uni, so I'd come home. We're still in a pandemic now, but back then it was like everyone was thinking, oh, we're gonna have Freedom Day and all this jazz in the UK, and it didn't happen. But anyway, we were still pretty deep in the pandemic, and I just finished uni and come home. I still wasn't really seeing many of my friends because they were either away, they lived away, or they're at work. And as a student who is just unemployed for the summer as you wait for your postgrad to start, it's a little bit like, oh god, what am I doing? What is life? I don't know. But back when I turned 22, I was super lucky to have all my friends and my family around me. We'd planned this big get together, all outdoors and everything. I don't know why I'm trying to explain myself, but I feel like I need to. But yeah, we just had this big outdoor gathering. It was really nice, and it was just so nice to see my loved ones and friends and family all together and enjoying themselves and having such a great time. And yeah, I really enjoyed that night. It was the start of being 22, and I'm like, right, this year I've got my teacher training course at uni to start. So by the time I'm 23, I'm going to be a qualified teacher. Then I'm gonna find myself a job, and then I'm gonna have the stability, and that is a big thing in my mind. I need a sense of stability. Back when I was thinking about my first degree, the future was like a blank white wall, and it was very scary. I didn't like it. And then once I figured it out, it was okay. So I kind of had that again. But the thing is, over the summer, there's not much that can be done. Like, obviously you can do reading and stuff, but I also want to enjoy my life. So I'm just waiting around for my degree to start, and this is where the start of really difficult imposter syndrome started. This is where I think it started anyway, because I have got lots of experience as a teacher. I love it. You know, it's great. I love working with young people. It sounded like someone was in the house, but they weren't. I think it's just my headphones. Okay. And yeah, so I was waiting for my course to start, and I've got all this experience, and I'm confident. You know, I can interact with young people, I can teach. Obviously, I don't have the biggest subject knowledge yet, but that's what the whole course is for. That's what it's all about. But I just had this really big imposter syndrome just gnawing away at me all summer, being like, well, what if you get there and you can't do it? Or what if you get there and you're shown as essentially the fraud that you are? And that was really difficult because there was nothing I could really do about it until I actually started my course and found out if it was true or not. And that really sucked, because I was like, yay, my summer's dwindling away and all I can do is feel shit. But it wasn't all bad. I did have a good summer, but there's just this lingering imposter syndrome in the back of my mind, and that really sucked. So by the time my course started, the imposter syndrome just slapped me on the face, and I was like, right, I am at uni, I'm studying, I'm in an environment that I know, like I'm at school, I'm in classes and stuff, and I was getting to know lots of people that I'm really good friends with, and they were all in the same boat as me, really worried about placement and things. And for that kind of few weeks and months of September to November, I was like, right, placement is coming up, it's scary, but we got this. And then I've got notes, but I'm not really reading them. I'm just talking out my ass, but it's fine. But yeah, by the time I got to the placement, I was just like so overwhelmed, and I was loving being in the classroom and teaching and shadowing my teacher and the teaching assistant, and just really jumping in and just having a go. But it quickly turned quite sour, unfortunately. There was a lot of expectations placed upon me, which is perfectly fine. That's what we're here to learn for. But lots of expectations put upon me, and then I was undermined quite a lot by my teacher. So I would say one thing and then they would turn around and contradict me. So it kind of made me look quite bad. And I'm not going to get too deep into it because that's the general atmosphere. It felt like a very toxic working environment. And in my head, I was like, right, I need to, imposter syndrome starting to come out and been like, well, you know, this school is seeing that you're not a good teacher, that you're a fraud, and all this stuff, and you need to keep going and prove them wrong. Because I'm the sort of person who I don't want to quit, I don't want to give up. And I just kept pushing through because I was still trying to enjoy it and learn everything I could and, you know, do assignments and all that. And then around Christmas time, the good old mental health kind of spiraled a bit, which was unfortunate. And I just did not know what to do with myself because I was just feeling really anxious going into school. I was getting a lot of physical symptoms of anxiety. And as someone who's been diagnosed with anxiety and depression for like 6 years now, I was like, okay, this is. I know myself. This is going downhill. This is going south fast, and I need to sort this out. But I kept pushing through. And then by the time 2022 rolled around, I told myself, right, this is the year I want to put myself first. Because I just have been going non-stop and with work and everything, and I haven't really been putting myself first. I've been trying to, but you know, self-love and self-care, it's a journey, it's not easy. And I was like, right, this year I'm going to put myself first, kind of knowing what I meant by that, but not wanting to say it out loud. So I went back to the placement. I was like, right, let's have a go. And then within the first week, I was like, right, I need to reassess because this is not good for my mental health. No job or school life is worth destroying your mental and physical health over. And I spoke to people at uni and stuff, and they said the exact same thing. You know, your health is your priority. If you are not well enough to do something, then you don't do it. You should put yourself first, which was incredibly validating. So what I did was I said, I'm not doing this placement anymore. I'm gonna end this placement. I'm not going back. I can try again later in the year, but right now I need to put myself first and my mental health first. And that was really difficult for me because it felt like I'd proven my imposter syndrome right, which sucked because there was nothing really I could do about it because I did give up, but it was for the right reason. I put myself first, and that period after ending placement was really rocky because I had nothing to do apart from some assignments. But then once they were done, I was just sitting at home with me, myself, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And a part of me really regretted my decision at first because I was like, I could have just pushed through. I only had a few weeks left, at least of this placement, but I'd eventually have to go back to the same placement later on in the year. And it took a long time, and kind of still is a little bit, but I think I'm more at peace with it now. It took a long time for me to really think about why I made the decision that I did and what would have happened if I kept going and kept pushing myself further and further into the ground. And now I think for the most part, yeah, I think I'm at peace with my decision because I've put myself first. And for me, that's something, like I say, I rarely do. So it felt really nice and quite brave of myself to do that. So I was really happy with that. And then a whole load of stuff happened where essentially I could restart some placements, but it was just not practical or viable. And I just sat there and I thought, right, do I go somewhere that's really far away, not viable, and at the moment my mental health is stable, but the thought of going back to teaching is quite scary? Or do I just say, right, going to get the degree, I'm just not going to be qualified as a teacher yet. And that's the decision I made. Because life's short, you know, I want to have experiences first before I settle down with like careers and stuff. And that was another blow to my mental health, because I thought, oh my god, all this, like all my career plans and stuff that I thought I had so nailed down are just gone now. I'm just stuck. Like, what do I do with myself? And you know, then that stability was just lost. I was like, oh yay, fun. But I promise you, the story's gonna get better, I promise. So yeah, then it was just a sense of being really happy for everyone else who's achieving and getting their teaching goals, their career goals, but also thinking like, what am I gonna do? And yeah, there was just no stability. You know, I'm the gifted and talented, or I was the gifted and talented kid that turned out to be anxious. So if you're in that boat, I feel you, valid. But yeah, I'm really happy with the decision I made, because I put myself first. And that was a big learning point for me at 22. After all these months of feeling pretty shit about myself and not knowing what to do, I think I just needed to take that chance when it was given to me. The chance to put myself first and be like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. I have got this life, this one life. This body is the only body I've got, and I need to look after it and me. Because I'm not living anyone else's life, I'm living my life, and all that hippie stuff that is involved with that. So then, in that sort of rocky period, you know, I wasn't really seeing many people because they were at work or studying or living away. And the people I did get to see, it was really nice to see them, but I felt so lost that I wasn't 100% enjoying myself. I wasn't being present. I was either too stuck in the past with imposter syndrome, or thinking too much about the future and what it will bring. I wasn't enjoying the present. And it's something that I've always struggled with. I've never been sure how to be in the present. But I think we got there in the end. So that was, we've got to like May time now, May 2022. There's no specific timeline for this, but you know, I'm trying to keep it kind of structured. But yeah, this is when I went to France. And this was for an event that had been scheduled for 2020, and then obviously couldn't go, and then it got postponed and postponed again. So I had these tickets for like 3 years, and finally I could go. And I was really scared that something would happen last minute, pandemic wise, and I won't be able to go, or it would be cancelled or anything like that. And that last month of waiting to go to France was probably one of the most anxious times of my life so far, just because all I can do is wait, and that's it, and just pray that everything goes right when I get there. I mean, I have a video of it on YouTube, but it should be like a card up here or here, I don't know what side it's going to be, with a link to that vlog, because I'm very but yeah, for those who haven't seen the vlog, it's essentially, I did a French degree, I love French history, and I was going to the Palace of Versailles on the outskirts of Paris and attending an 18th century style ball at the palace. So I was all dressed up like a princess, and we had dancing lessons. We saw private parts of the palace that the public didn't have access to, and I had dancing lessons, and there were fireworks, and it was beautiful. But because that dog is loud, because I went with my partner who was quite ill, unfortunately, so we couldn't get to do everything that I wanted to necessarily, which I was more worried about, making sure my partner was well, and so I was a little bit like, oh no, what if this doesn't turn out like I want it to? And then the day arrived, and I think I can say very easily that this was one of the best experiences of my life, because after all these months of feeling lost and unsure of myself, this was the first time in a while that I felt truly present within myself. I was living every single moment in that moment. I wasn't thinking about the past, I wasn't thinking about the future. I was thinking about, I am here right now and I am enjoying this milestone that I've reached. And it was just so incredible because I don't think I've ever felt that present before. Like I tried to meditate and things like that, but this was the moment where I was like, wow, this is living in the present, but in action. I'm not just sitting down and practicing it through meditation, I'm actually living it, which was wild and awesome and amazing. And yeah, that was the turning point for me at 22, which was great. I hope you hear the sarcasm. It was great because this was like however many months into me being 22, but you know, this was the turning point for me. And yeah, the night was so long, but that's exactly how I wanted it. I was just living in the moment and it was wonderful. And yeah, I want to get this on record because I love this moment, but there is never a more wonderful moment than when I walked out the hotel, dressed all amazingly, if I do say so myself, and there were people, like just regular members of the public, just crowding around the hotel because why are all these random people walking out dressed like they're in the wrong century? And I was quite self-conscious and I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna look really weird, this is gonna be weird. And then there was this mom and her daughter, I think, and the little girl was looking up at me like I was a Disney princess, and I've never felt more wonderful and happy in my life. It was the best experience, and little things like that just gave me the confidence to push my social anxiety boundaries and be like, hey, do you want me to take a picture for you? Or, oh, could you take a picture for me? And stuff like that. And it was such a wonderful present moment, and it really told me that yes, this cost money and a lot of money, but I am never going to forget this experience, and I'm never going to forget what it taught me, because I was present, I was happy, and nothing could push me off cloud nine. And now that I'm back home and I'm going through the fun turmoil of looking for a job and either getting rejection emails or just no messages back at all, which is not great, I think it's given me the opportunity to really start reflecting on being 22. And I think after lots of thought, and especially my brain dump, which is over there and I haven't looked at, but it's there, I think I've started to reflect on this year and think that 22 has been very up and down for me, but I'm starting to think of it as a transition year, because I've learned so much from this year, and even though there's so much going on in the world and in my life, I can look back on this year and I wouldn't say 100% be happy with it, but I think I've lived the year in my life, and that I don't know how to explain it. Bad things have happened, but also there's been a lot of good, And I haven't been able to look at that until I had that experience in France. And thinking of this year as a transition year or a transition period in my life has been really validating and really positive, because now I can reflect on all my experiences, and even if there was declines in mental health and work environments that I was not comfortable in, I made good decisions. I put myself first. I made sure I was validating my feelings, and even down to little things like starting to get back into meditation a little bit more and settle a morning routine that it's not perfect yet, but just giving myself that time to be present in the moment has really been wonderful. And I don't think I would have had this chance if it wasn't for everything that led up to this event, or led up to this time, because I'm the gifted and talented kid. I was the one who worked non-stop and just kept going and kept going and kept going while everyone else was out partying and having a good time, and I was inside studying, and that is not a bad thing, but equally I was the gifted and talented kid, and I didn't want to stop, because if I stopped working and stopped pushing forward, then I'd have to stop and think about what I'm doing with my life and where I'm going, and that is terrifying for me and just people with anxiety in general. I feel like it's safe to say. And this year I've had no choice. I've had to stop. When I finished my placement, I had to stop and think and reassess, and even though that was really scary for me, it was something I needed to do. And if there's anything in the universe that has done this, or it's just my body being like, you need to rest, whatever made me stop, I am so thankful for it, because I needed it. And after 22 years of life, so I'm in my 20s. Yes, it's early on, but I've done so much in these past few years that is just wild. I've gone from having so much stability to having not very much at all, to then having all these experiences that are just reminding me that just live now. I am someone who always looks forward and is always looking back. I'm never thinking about this moment. And yeah, that's what 22 has taught me, which I've said like 50 times, but I'm just saying it again. So the last thing I wrote down on my word brain dump was what goals I have for being 23, which is something I've never really done before, and I have decided I don't want to set goals, because as someone who is so used to having very rigid, like, you do this, then you do this, then you do this, I want to just take my foot off the accelerator a little bit, you know? And I think I'm just going to read straight from this, because I think this just sums up, it's not necessarily a rigid goal, but it's something that I've always wished for and always asked for, but we might be getting somewhere. So I wrote, I don't want to tie myself down into setting rigid goals for 23, so I want to go back to what I always wish for when my villagers in Animal Crossing ask me what I want for my birthday. I always wish to be happy. That's what I write. I mean, sometimes I've written, I want Breath of the Wild to be released or whatever, but, you know, that's just the Zelda in me. But I've almost always written to be happy. And I think that is what I want this year. I don't want to be like, I want a job in the next 6 months. I mean, that's a great goal to have, but also I don't want to tie myself down to that, because then the imposter syndrome in me will come back up and be like, well, you haven't got one yet, why have you not got one? And it will just start this spiral again, and I want to try and stop that if I can. And I think from lots of therapy in the past few years and everything, I've realised how strong I am as a person, which is something I don't think I've ever admitted until recently. And this year especially has shown me that, you know, I've put myself first. I've put these decisions in place that have taken care of me, and a younger me wouldn't have had, she may have had the inner strength to, no, she did have the inner strength to have that, but not necessarily the voice to channel that strength and say, hey, I want to put myself first, or I'm making this decision for me. And this year I could do that. So I think for me this year, going into 23, I want to do what I can to make myself happy. Whether that's having 10 cups of tea a day and the next day going out and doing nothing. You know, it changes from day to day. I just want to do what I can to be happy. Now, I don't want to get into all the YOLO hippie shit, but it's true. But I found things like meditation have been really helpful for me. Trying to educate myself more, not necessarily in the academic sense, but in terms of world events, and as like a proud ally, I still have a lot of things to learn within the LGBT plus community. I want to keep learning about that. Learn about the sex ed that none of us got in school, because I don't know what's going on, and I got to admit that. But just keep learning, but learning in the way that will make me happy, because by knowing these things, I can be happy in myself, and I can make other people happy. I can make other people comfy. And streaming and content creation has been a constant this year, and I really want it to be that next year as well, and I know it will be, which is why I'm not setting it as a goal necessarily. Because the community I've made and the community I'm part of have been there for me and kept me stable when everything else has felt unstable. And I want to do everything I can to keep making content that will make me happy and keep doing things that will make other people happy too. And that's what streaming has done for me. That's what YouTube content has done for me. God, that's even what TikTok has done for me. You know, and you know, it's not about numbers and stuff. If I could do this full time, that would be wonderful. But I don't want to set that as any specific goal. Like, you know, by 2023, I want 15 million likes. That's not going to happen, is it? But I just want to keep doing stuff that will make me happy. And I think if anyone wants to take something away from this video, which has essentially just been me rambling for like 30 minutes, it is that. The 20s have been so rocky and so up and down, and everyone is at a different stage in their life, and you know, you can't compare your chapter 3 to someone's chapter 30. You just keep growing at your own pace, keep doing what makes you happy, what makes other people happy. Obviously put yourself first, but for me, what makes me happy is making other people happy. And that is through playing the kazoo, you know, on stream, or getting amiibos, or, you know, anything like that. Just what makes me happy and other people happy. And I think I kind of knew going into being 22, I knew this was going to be quite a rough year. mainly because the imposter syndrome was coming up in me and I was like, oh shit, my life, what's going on? But looking back on it now, and I'm still not done yet, I've still got like my graduation to do in the summer and things, but I'm so happy for this year. And I can finally say that. For so long I've been like, oh, this has been a terrible year, I've done nothing, but I have. And even if what you've done today is just get out of bed in the morning, or checked in on someone, or hydrated, or taking your meds, it's looking at that instead of being, right, I've not got a job today, therefore I am a failure. It's like, no, these things take time, and just be present. That's all I ask. Just be as present as you can, because I know what it's like to live in the past and always look to the future. And this year I finally felt the joy of being in the present. And it made me happy. And that's all I want. I just want to be happy. And I'm starting to feel that. I'm starting to get there. And I am happy in general, but I think what I mean is I want to be a stable happy. I don't just want to have like a high every now and again followed by 6 months of lows. You know, I want to just be happy where I am and not put any pressure on myself to do things that make me productive. I just want to be happy, you know? So there's been a whole ass ramble, but hopefully it's made a bit of sense. It's been nice to get this out of my system. Hopefully it's done something. I don't know if it has, but who knows. So yeah, I guess I feel like I should wrap this up and actually make it coherent, but you know, we'll try. So essentially 22 has been a transition year. There have been lots of lows, lots of facing up to my mental health, but also a lot of time for reflection and a lot of positives, and starting to see myself as the strong person I am and the happy person that I am, and doing more for myself, being happy in the moment. And that's what I want for anyone who is watching this. You know, whether you're the same age as me, whether you're younger, whether you're older, and whether you're at a really good point in your life, that's really good. And if you're at a bit of a lower point in your life, I really hope you can take my ramblings as something, maybe a sense of comfort, or a sense that it is going to be okay. Yeah, it is going to be okay, you know? And that's what you need to take from this. It is going to be okay. You know, you've survived 100% of your bad days. And good things are coming. I don't know when they're gonna come, but they are gonna come eventually. And I wish everyone all the happiness in the world, because just sitting here and talking about the year I've had has been very freeing and really nice. It's been nice to get everything out of my brain and onto paper and onto a screen, you know? But yeah, I guess it's time to wrap this up a little bit, because I'm just rambling at this point. But I like this kind of chatty video, so if you like this sort of stuff, let me know in the comments, because I would love to make more of these little chatty kind of videos. And if you like my optimistic self and my happier self, then feel free to subscribe as well, because I love making content on here, on YouTube and on Twitch, and there's a lot more coming in the future, and I love it. Also, use the fuck it adjustment. Just sometimes, if you don't know what you're doing, fuck it, just do something else. I use the fuck it adjustment with streaming, and now I've been streaming happily for over a year. So, you know, be happy, be in the present, use the fuck it adjustment, you know? Yes, I love you all so much. Thank you all for hanging on. If you have hung on this long, please comment a peach emoji. Why not? Let's get some peaches in the chat. I don't know. But yeah, thank you all so much for listening and watching. I love you all so much. You are all so wonderful, and this is also the first time I can say thank you all for 100 subs. This will be long after I got 100 subs, but thank you all so much. I love you all and appreciate you so much. And yeah, you've all been a big constant in my life, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. So yeah, I love you all so much. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I can't think of what else to say. Just have a wonderful day. I love you so much. Just remember you're valid. Your feelings are valid. Good days are coming, and you're a survivor. You can do this, you know? So yeah, I will see you all very soon. Bye, friends. What am I doing? This feels weird. I don't know what I'm doing.